Okay, so this is more punnett practice. We have 4 example problems on this front and back. All right, let's get started. Brown eyes, big B, are dominant over blue eyes, little b. Cross a pure dominant man with a pure recessive woman. Okay, so pure means the same. So I need a same dominant and I need a same recessive. So I know what that's going to be. So I'm going to put pure dominant here. Okay, so brown eye, so pure dominant man, so that's dominant, and then the woman's going to be here, pure recessive, so those are my 2 little b's here. Pure means the same again, so I'm going to put the woman down here. Okay, so we're going to cross them up. I always put my big letters first, so down, over, down, whoops, and over, and down and over. All right, so let's take a look and see what we got. Looks like we got a bunch of hybrids at first glance, and it looks like they're all going to be brown as far as I'm concerned, right? Because at least if they have one big B, they're going to cover up the little b for blue. Okay, let's see what the questions ask. What percent of the offspring are going to have brown eyes? 100%. What percent of the offspring are going to have blue eyes? None of them. What percent of the offspring are going to be pure dominant? Well, pure dominant would be this. Now, we know that one of the parents are pure dominant, but what percent of the offspring? None of them are 2 big B's. So that's none. What percent of the offspring would be pure recessive? Well, pure recessive would look like this. This is how you would get blue eyes. Can't have a big B in there, at least you wouldn't be blue. All right, so do we have any of that? Nope, we don't have any pure offspring at all. They're all hybrids. And what percent of the offspring will be higher? That's our 100%. Okay, let's go to number 2. Bob is a hybrid for curly hair. Okay, so he's got curly hair, and we're going to use H's in this case. So big H is going to be curly, because that's dominant, and little h is going to be straight hair. Mary is pure for straight hair. Okay, that's the only way you could be straight hair, is to have the 2 little ones come together. 2 little ones equals straight and straight. Use a punnett square to predict the possible outcomes of their children's hair color. All right, put Bob up here. So big H over here, and a little h here. And 2 little h's for Mary here. Careful with your crosses. H and H over. All right, first glance, looks like we're going to have 2 for curly. They're hybrid for curly, but remember, as long as they got that one big H, the curly gene will take over, it's dominant. And we're going to have 2 that will be straight. So we got a 50-50 shot. Let's see what the questions are asking us. Which trait is the dominant trait, straight or curly? So that's going to be curly. The reason why I know that, again, is Bob is a hybrid for curly hair. So even though he's hybrid, he is curly, and that one big H is where I get that information from. Which trait is recessive? That's going to be the straight hair. What percentage of the children will have curly hair? All right, so out of this, we have 2 out of 4 are curly. Remember, I know they're curly because as long as they have that one big H, so that's 2 out of 4, which is 50%. What percent of the children will have straight hair? And there's a straight right there. 50%, that's where they come from there. Okay, let's go to 3. All right, number 3. Black fur, big B in rats is dominant over brown fur, little b. All right, so black is dominant over brown. Cross a pure black rat with a pure brown rat. Okay, so as I read, I like to just kind of make notes in here. So I'm going to take a pure black. So pure means the same. And I know it's black, so I'm just going to write that right here. Just so I know when I read. Cross a pure black, okay, with pure brown. Okay, brown I know is little b's. And the word pure means that they're going to be both the same. So it's going to be the same. So that's what I'm crossing. All right, let's do it. I'll put the big dominant one up here. This is my black rat, and I'm going to put that with a pure brown rat right here. Let's see what the percent chance of their babies would be. Looks like all hybrids. Looks like, so if I have a pure black rat with a pure brown rat, they're all going to be black, aren't they? 100%. Let's see what the questions ask. If these rats had 100 baby rats, how many of those babies would you predict would have black fur? All right, so This works on percentages, right? So 25 and then 50, 75 would be 3, 100% would be 4. Well, if we're dealing with 100 rats, 100 baby rats, how many of these babies would you predict would have black fur? It'd be 100 black rats. All right, so it's 100%. If 2 of these baby rats mated and had their own babies, could they possibly produce baby rats with brown fur? If so, how? Okay, so let's take a look at here's the babies right here. Let's take a couple of these babies out. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my own little punnett square right here. And I'm gonna take some of the offspring out. This is a second generation cross. So I'll take this one right here, which is a hybrid, and this one right here. Let's put them together and see what we get. Okay, so that's not a brown rat. That's a definite black rat. That's a black rat because it's got one big B. So far, no chance. There's another black rat, but check this out. I can get 2 little B's. So yeah, I can get brown rats back. So your answer to this question right here is, if you mate 2 hybrids together, it's a 25% chance that those 2 offspring put together into a second generation can give you brown rats. 25% chance. Okay, number 4. Mike and Sarah are both hybrids for hair color. They both have brown hair, not blonde. Use a punnett square to show the possible hair colors of Mike and Sue's children. Choose a letter to use. Make sure it's the letter in which the capital looks different than the lowercase. Okay, so let's go back and look at the facts here again. So Mike and Sue are both hybrids for hair colors. So that means they're going to be one big and one little, and they're both that way. And we're dealing with brown and blonde. Brown is dominant over blonde. Okay, so hybrid. So we'll put Mike up here. I'm going to choose B's. Okay, brown would be the little b, or excuse me, the big B, and blonde will be the little b. Sue's the same thing as Mike, they said. So she's down here. Cross them up. Pretty much the same thing that we did on the second generation, and we're using B's again too, but this is brown and blonde this time. Let's see what the questions are asking us. What percent of the children will have brown hair? Okay, let's take a look. Brown, 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 blonde. So 3 out of 4, that's 75%. What percentage of the children will have blonde hair? Well, that's the only one right there. 25%. What percentage of the children will be pure for brown hair? All right, so this is just a little bit more specific. Not only do they want to know, okay, is it going to be brown, but pure for brown. So we know all of these 3 are brown, but this is the only one that's pure for brown because they're both the same. So that one is out of 4 is 25%, and that's where it comes from right there. What percentage of the children will be pure for blonde hair? Well, there it is right there. So that's 25%. And what percent of the children will be hybrids? 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4 is 50%.